So, with the beta for New World being released just a few days ago, I went in completely blind, doing very little research and having very little knowledge of the game, its mechanics and everything that you can do within it. But I can't help compare New World to Ashes of Creation in a positive way and consider that New World has the potential to improve Ashes of Creation. The main comparison between the two will be down to the gameplay mechanics, specifically around the world mechanics and having territorial wars. In New World, the territories are already predetermined, and there are a total of 3 main factions that can control any territory at any given time. If a territory is owned by a faction, a rival faction can declare war for that territory, and the server then determines the time that war will start. Then a total of 10 groups of 5 players can participate in that war. These game mechanics have similarities to the concept of territory and wars in Ashes of Creation, but on a much smaller scale. Despite this though, this is where the devs of Ashes of Creation have a brilliant opportunity to see what New World does with its war system and take inspiration for their concept. Essentially, what works well and what doesn't. This is exactly why competition in an industry builds and improves products. Having a monopoly in an industry is the fastest way to destroy the industry, as there is no innovation and a company no longer has to attempt to improve their products. For example, if Apple had more of a monopoly over the mobile phone industry over the last decade, their phone tech probably wouldn't be where it is today. The same goes for the video game industry. Imagine a world where only EA released games. And that's not a world I want to live in. But going back to my previous point, this is why I believe that Ashes of Creation could become a better game because of New World. Seeing what New World does successfully can inspire other devs, not just from Intrepid Studios, but other game studios as well. From my personal opinions, I believe that Ashes of Creation will be a better game, as there are similar concepts to New World, but on a much grander scale, such as territories to nodes, shaping the world based on the player's actions, down to much larger scale war zones and a more robust PvP flagging system. Despite this though, I believe that New World will be more successful. I believe this purely down to the funding model between the two games. New World is a pay to own game. You pay once and then you own the game. Granted, there are going to be pay to win elements from the game store, but you don't have to purchase anything from the store. Whereas Ashes of Creation is a subscription-based funding model with a cosmetic store, which I have some serious concerns about. Both MMOs do not seem to have a traditional endgame. It seems to be more focused on open world PvP and territory struggles to maintain the game's entertainment. And I don't think that a subscription-based model can sustain that. This is where my concern comes from. Let's take ESO as the example. ESO began as a subscription-based model, and whilst there were other big issues with the game, mostly down to the marketing, the game could not sustain a subscription-based model on the PvP area alone. Instead, after some time passed, they turned the game into a pay-to-own game with a cosmetic store and an option to subscribe which gave benefits to the player. Instead, after some time passed, they turned the game into a pay-to-own game with a cosmetic store, the option to subscribe which gave benefits to the player, and expansions. Which I think is the best funding model for an MMO at the moment. I hope that I'm wrong, and Ashes of Creation is so good that players are more than happy to continue with their subscription. Hopefully, it remains sustainable in order to keep a player base, and Intrepid continue in expanding and improving the game post-release. But that's my hot take on this subject. I'm enjoying New World, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into Ashes of Creation. My questions to you all is, have you tried either or both of the games? And if you have, what were your experiences? But for now everybody, I'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time.